And our top focus on this morning. All eyes are on US Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin's diplomatic trip to India. Austin is currently on a two-day visit to discuss a range of bilateral issues with India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Upon his arrival, the US Ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, received the Pentagon chief, who kick-started the third leg of his four-nation tour. Taking to Twitter, the US Defence Secretary wrote, and I'm quoting here, "I'm returning to India to meet with the key leaders for discussions about strengthening our major defence partnership," further emphasizing on how both Washington and New Delhi share a vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Now, in just a few hours from now, the US Defence Secretary will inspect the Guard of Honour at the Ministry of Defence in New Delhi. And he will also meet with the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh later today. Now, Austin's New Delhi visit is prominently focused on advancing India-US new defence innovation and the industrial cooperation initiatives as well. The Pentagon, while elaborating on Austin's New Delhi visit, asserted on how the focus will be to modernize the US-India major defence partnership. Austin earlier participated at the Shangri-La Summit in Singapore before visiting New Delhi. This is his second visit to India, the last one being in March 2021. Austin's trip to India also comes at a time when Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's official state visit to the White House in less than a month away. Both the countries are at an advanced stage of talks concerning the joint manufacturing of indigenous jet engines of fighter aircraft. Meanwhile, the German Defence Minister will also be reaching New Delhi later today. He's on a four-day visit to India and will be holding bilateral talks with India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh tomorrow. For more on this, we're now being joined by Principal Diplomatic Correspondent Siddhant Sibal. A very good morning to you, Siddhant. Now, the United States of America has designated India as a major defence partner. Austin will be meeting the Indian Defence Minister in just a short while from now. What are some of the defence deals that are expected to be inked today?
Well, the US Defence Secretary is almost on a one-day, in fact 24-hour-long visit to India. He arrived yesterday, and today focus, of course, remains his conversations with the Indian Defence Minister, which is due to start in about 1 hour from now. Now, focus remains on how both India and US coordinate in the Indo-Pacific and have key outcomes in terms of defence engagements. We have seen both sides substantially increasing their defence engagement in past few years, signing key pacts like LEMOA, COMCASA, and of course focus is that ahead of the Indian Prime Minister's visit to Washington later this month, how both countries can work together on joint manufacturing, something that has been on top of the mind of policymakers from the two sides, but also essentially how to deal with a very aggressive China. Remember, the US Defence Secretary travels from Shangri-La, from Singapore, where he attended the Shangri-La dialogue, and we saw the comments by the Chinese Defence Minister, comments which were seen very aggressive and perhaps a message to the region that there could be more aggressive actions by China in next few months or years.
Right, Siddhant. Now, Austin's visit to New Delhi also comes a month before Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's official visit to the White House. What kind of message is being given out at the moment?
Well, the message is clear that India and US are going to be strong partners in next few years, and there will be more firming up of relationship. Now, we have seen in past few years a lot of incoming visits from United States and a lot of outgoing visits as well. While the Indian Prime Minister travels to Washington later this month, we will see the US President Joe Biden traveling to India in the month of September to attend the G20 summit, and next year to attend the Quad summit. But as the US has been terming India as the most consequential relationship of this century, we have seen a lot of engagement in that terms, whether it's security, defense, or in terms of people-to-people relationship, as well as the US has been claiming that they have increased their visa issuance for people from India. So essentially, this visit by the US Defence Secretary will be seen in that context as to how India and US increase their bilateral engagement in almost every sector possible.
Right, Saddam, last question to you. Apart from hosting the US Defence Secretary, the German Defence Minister will also be visiting in New Delhi later today. Talk to us more about the German Defence Minister's visit to India.
Well, the German Defence Minister will be on the 3-day India visit. He travels to India tomorrow, and of course he will be going outside New Delhi as well, perhaps to Goa, to focus on how India is building up its capabilities. But essentially the focus of the German Defence Minister's visit is submarines. We know the Germans and Indians both are essentially keen on some kind of arrangement on submarines, but it is taking time because these are major defence deals, and in signing them are key and important for both countries. But essentially when it comes to the high-level visits, whether it's by the German Defence Minister or the US Defence Secretary, it shows that how many European countries and of course United States now look up to India in the Indo-Pacific as an important partner at a time when there has been aggressive actions by China in the region.
Right, so now we'll of course be tracking both the bilaterals very closely on WION, but thanks very much for joining us and sharing your insights with us.